Oh, we live? That's crazy. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ben Scott. I'm saying the coolest in the city. That's any city. I mean, officially in every hood and Hollywood. Welcome to the first episode of Neighborhood Studios podcast. I'm your host, Soso Banks. Everyone else calls me Nangam. So, thank you for tuning in first and foremost. The aim of this podcast, if you didn't know, is to, contribute and advance the educational component of the music business. So, I hope you pick up what I'm trying to lay down and the why throughout the episode and season. I'll start with my introduction to music. So I was born Anglican. I grew up in the Anglican church. My dad's side of the family is Anglican. My mom's side of the family is from the United Methodist Church of Southern Africa. So from church, I was like able to distinguish the different textures in terms of harmonies and melodies. And I stuck with the Methodist church hymns. If you know me, you know I'm a fan of the Methodist church hymns. So from there, my dad used to travel for work. So he'd bring back like CDs, from different provinces in SA, and countries across the continent. This is like back when CDs were still booming, CDs and cassettes, but like obviously you're not gonna bring a cassette, through. My mom, my cousins, my aunt, my niece, my grandfather is like they are like super, super musically inclined. My grandfather was like in a choir back in his day. My mom is a music director at church and at work, my aunt as well. So fast forward, I'm in primary school and we're playing a game, me and, a group of friends, we're playing a game and, catching a breather and all that. A friend of mine walks up to me and is like, yo, are you Pura's sister? So I'm like, I already know, my brother's like nicknames in the streets, but I call him Booty. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I go, yes. And they are mind blown. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I knew like my brother's like he raps now. You know what I'm saying? So he was huge already that time. And this is like what grade 4, 5, or 6, somewhere up, you know what I'm saying? So we used to live at an army base, gated community, relatively small, but like, it's huge enough, like it's an army base, come on now. So, but like, close to the army base was Imakaza, like a dam. Was it a dam? Yeah, a dam just separated, Imakaza and the army base. So it was like super, super close by. So my aunt used to live there. So when my dad used to like travel, we'd go live with my aunt, or she'd come live with us. And even if he was around, like we'd go visit my aunt, like because it was super close by. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like back in the day. So like he had those influences from living there and at the army base. So like fast forward now, he's doing like music competitions, and around the time Ohani Kamakloseni was super huge. Like that was if you don't know that song, come on, and you're black, come on, man. That song was like super, super huge. I think most kids can say that was their, introduction to like mainstream, so to say, spaza rap, But obviously like it started way before then. But he did those music competitions, uh SA Fashion Week. He did that, performing like World Cup events. That was like my realization, so to say. But like, obviously, hip hop, spas especially, is like very huge around neighborhoods like Ekasi, in South Africa, in Cape Town, especially at that time. So now the Cape Town hip hop scene is super huge. And at the helm, it's Backyard Crew, Dream and Scap. We have a few other rappers also that aren't in groups and all that. And then we also have Afrikaans rappers from PE, but they're huge in Cape Town. Like that was when my mind was blown, like completely, completely. Like if you can do like in a sense you're about like if you can speak the Afrikaans that we speak in the streets, and also Tsotsital Afrikaans, and do that on a song, you wenze lukhulu, you get what I'm saying? So that was like, oh shit, like obviously vernac rap is crazy on its own, but for me, Afrikaans rap was a thing. So you have your Hemo BSM, Cream Machine. Cream is also still, still around, and he's still, a good rapper. He has kept the sport alive, for the most part of it. And Early B, from these guys were like from PE, cannot Cream and Hemobi or something like but they were huge in Cape Town as well. And then there's the underground scene as well, the battle rappers. Like that was the most exciting part for me. Those niggas were brutal. Those niggas were brutal because they'd like do shows at like high schools and stuff. Man, those niggas were brutal. So like I was a big fan of that as well. Then you had your prominent hip hop rappers like Kanye Mavi, Opiz, or Ndlulamthi, or Pro X Naked Mind. You know, those guys were like huge around, that time. You know what I'm saying? So it was mainly Cape Town Xhosa rap and Eastern Cape Xhosa rap. So um you'd have rappers from the Eastern Cape and they'd like move to Cape Town to, to further their studies and whatnot. And that's how it became huge. Cause like you wouldn't find that type of Xhosa in Cape Town. Like I don't even want to lie, you know. So those influences too played a huge part. Like I don't want to leave Eastern Cape out of Ispaza like ever, So you know, these guys are huge. And then my brother drops his debut single as Pura, and his song is called Pura Lila. That was like huge, super huge. Like I remember the day of like when he was done recording it and all that, and it was like officially out and he came home and we were listening to the song, my mom as well, like the whole fam actually at our house back then. Bro, that's when we knew I'd cool. This nigga's a star. This nigga's a star. And then these guys are now performing on Shift, SABC One. I think it was shot at the ICC, but if you know Shift, like they performed on there as well. So now I have like front row seats to like all these different eras, so to say, in Cape Town hip hop, like up until now, but we're speaking about back then now. So him and Ufanda Merva were also planning a tour, Ubambo Mteto tour. I remember they were planning it in our living room and I had like just finished washing dishes and I was standing at the door watching them do the thing, like plan this tour out. And I was just mind blown. And it's not until now that I understand, like what goes into planning that. You get what I'm saying? So like a tour, and now like CDs are out. They have like CDs out and all that. So he becomes a member officially in 2011. I'm obviously jumping a few timelines here. He becomes a member officially in 2011, and then 2012, a tragic car accident happens in July of 2012. That claimed the lives of my brother and Van der Merwe. You know, at the time, RIP. So now Backyard Crew isn't what it was. Phoenix moved to the States for some years, but it's still huge because like um Spaza fans are the most hardcore hip hop fans ever. Like if you can get them, you have it, bro. Like you have it. Like I see the conversations, bro. Like I see the conversations, and those guys are like the probably like the greatest fan base ever. Like people are only gonna understand it. Like, but this is like a crazy comparison as well. The Slimes, but 10 times, 100 times more. Like how loyal they are to Aries and his success. That's how Sparza fans are. You know what I'm saying? So um and I saw, my brother's influence and like on the music, industry and music in Cape Town in general when they were honored at the 19th Summer Awards. And the tribute was by Bongeziwe Mabandla, and that's when I was first introduced to Bongeziwe Mabandla. Shout out to him as well. Like he's a phenomenal artist. So it's that tribute whereby they honor the past legends, over the year, at the awards, and it's sad that the summers aren't happening this year. I think they've been postponed or cancelled. I'm not sure, but man, that's super sad. But shout out Bongizo Maband, and that's when I saw how big my brother really was, and the rest of the family, our relatives as well. That's when they saw people on TV, like my brother Shift and, all these things. That's when they were introduced to, superstardom, so to say. And then fast forward to the Soso Banks era, the Soso Banks era. So I'm in Matric, and over the years I've been asked why don't I rap and all that, but by like my brother's friends and everyone that does music, that knew me, you know what I'm saying? So they ask why don't you rap? Like they don't know that obviously if you live in a house where someone is doing something, you're bound to by proximity to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like or something close to that. So I can't live in a house where someone does music and I don't do that. You get what I'm saying? So like on that level, I don't do that. So obviously, like my pain, like I won't lie, my pain is nice, but that's neither here or there. So this like started grade as soon as I knew that my brother raps, that's when I started writing as well. So this is like grade six, grade seven ish, grade five. Well, let me not lie, because I know grade five I broke my arm, so that's the only thing I can remember from grade five, like one of the few things. But I think from grade four, grade five, grade six ish, that's when I started writing. But I did low key, because J was J was polele, the pote polele. So I dropped my debut single after my final matric exam. So for a week or two, I'm in studio every day, like literally every day. And like my uncle facilitated those studio sessions. Shout out to him. Thank you so much. So this is like Data Philos era. So Data Philos, you upload your song, send people the link, they download it. It shows you how many times it has been downloaded. But obviously, over time it got, crazy. Like the streaming farms, like now numbers weren't what they really were, like over time. So if you're doing like crazy numbers or data files, niggas really know you type shit. You know what I'm saying? So um I'm dropping my debut single, Data Philos Era. SoundCloud is also, relatively, booming. Um, you know, and then like the first beat I ever got was from Soulful Clay, and then I wrote to that beat, and then got to the studio. My uncle played another beat, and he's like, "No, like take that and just rap on this." So my debut single was initially supposed to be on a Soulful Clay beats. Shout out Clayton. We went to high school together, so I love that he's doing his thing now, and he's phenomenal too, man. Like shout out Soulful Clay. Um, and then I did Gussie Experience and Kalicha Fashion Week. Like I performed there as well. Um, Gazi Experience was phenomenal, super super phenomenal. And Kalicha Fashion Week was the first time I performed at like a fashion event. That was super cool too. Cause if you know me, you know. If you know, you know. You know. But like Gazi Experience was something else, bro. K Easy was hosting it. Miss Eve also played there. I'm a big fan of Miss Eve. Um, Lele was also there. Lele is like a super producer, from Cape Town, like in the hip hop scene, right now. Like he's been around since forever. So like he's doing like super, super, super well for himself, DJ Fabo was also there. Fabo is D Kawala's DJ now. At Gas Experience, I made top three in that competition, and then it was myself, Luis Odisa. I don't know if he goes by that name still, and Lele and his crew. So Lele and his crew won that competition. I think it was like I think yeah, it was a rack. It was like 1,000 rand that was up for grabs, and him and his crew, won that. So that was like a super super nice experience. Um, and that is like low key like my brief stint as a recording hip hop artist from Cape Town. That was super nice. Like I'll speak on Cape Town hip hop again soon, like in its entirety, so to say. Like a lot of has happened, over the years. We've had like super, super big, records over the years. High Show Pose, to name a few. And like we've had like huge things, man, happening in Cape Town. Bring back Sneaker Exchange, by the way, please, man. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys, enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys enjoy the next episode as well. Obviously you will, but that's neither here or there. But shout out for tuning in, and thank you for putting someone on this podcast. Uh I'm signing out. Soso Banks, Scotland. I'm saying the coolest in the city. That's in the city. I mean, officially in every hood and Hollywood. You know, I'm Soso Banks. Everyone else calls me Nanga. I'm so. Shout out.